Sometimes in Commander, cards can interact in such a powerful and synergistic way, they can help you achieve infinite power! In this video, I want to go over 5 infinite damage combos requiring only the color red that can lead you toward an instant victory in Commander, and the video starts right now. Special thanks to our Patreon supporters who power our channel. Check out our Patreon for monthly giveaways, exclusive content, and even a starring role in our fan fight series. Link in the description below. Hello and welcome to the day. Thank you for spending your time with us. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic. I am Joel. We're going to get into 5 infinite damage combos for the color red in Commander. But first, if you would, if you like the video by the end of it, go down there, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. Let's jump into the combos. So the first combo I want to go over is pretty straightforward and pretty classic. Combat Celebrant and Helm of the Host. Helm of the Host going infinite with creatures that allow you to untap and have more combat steps. These are pretty common, and so I want to show you the most common one. To get this combo set up, we need Combat Celebrant on the battlefield with Helm of the Host equipped to it, also on the battlefield, obviously. Combat Celebrant says if it hasn't been exerted this turn, you can exert it as it attacks. When you do untap all other creatures you control, and after this phase there's an additional combat phase. Helm of the Host says at the beginning of combat on your turn, create a token that's a copy of the equipped creature. And it gets haste. So if Combat Celebrant has Helm of the Host attached to it, at the beginning of your combat, the Helm of the Host is going to create a copy of the Combat Celebrant, and this is the one that you're going to be exerting. Combat Celebrant with the Helm of the Host equipped to it needs to survive, so you're going to want to swing this one in the safest direction possible, and if you can have a shields down opponent or just a safe place to swing Combat Celebrant every turn with the one that's got the Helm of the Host attached to it, you're going to win with this combo, because when you attack, you're going to exert the copy each time. That's going to trigger the Combat Celebrant, untap all creatures you control, and after this phase there's an additional combat phase. So when you swing these two, untap, the Helm of the Host checks again for the beginning of your combat, another token is created, they all swing, we're exerting this copy this time, it's going to untap, and so on and so forth until you overrun your opponents with an unlimited amount of 4/1 tokens. The next combo I want to show you is a Goblin Sharpshooter Splinter Twin combo. You can see we've got Splinter Twin in our hand down here, and Combat Celebrant is only on the battlefield because to get this combo going, the other prerequisite is we need a creature on the battlefield, either our side or our opponent's side, that's only got 1 toughness. That's how we're going to get this going. Let me explain. So Goblin Sharpshooter says it doesn't untap during your untap step. Whenever a creature dies, untap it, and you can tap it to deal a damage to target creature or player. So to start this, we're going to play Splinter Twin, enchanting the Goblin Sharpshooter that we've got. Now it also has tap to put a token that's a copy of this creature onto the battlefield, and the token has haste. So what we do here is we tap the Splinter Twin Goblin Sharpshooter, and for now I'm just going to tap the Splinter Twin enchantment itself just to show what I'm doing. It's going to create a copy of Goblin Sharpshooter. This Goblin Sharpshooter is going to tap to kill the X1 creature wherever it is, ours, our opponents. We're using the Combat Celebrant from last combo as a guinea pig here, so this one is going to tap and kill the Combat Celebrant, or whatever that 1 toughness creature is, and that is going to untap both Goblin Sharpshooters, and now we have what we need to keep this going. We now make another hasty Sharpshooter, so this is going to put another copy of that onto the battlefield. We're going to have, this is tapped now, we're going to have the first copy deal a damage to an opponent, we're going to have the second copy tap, deal the damage to itself, killing itself, but that untaps our other sharpshooters. You see, this is what we're doing now. Next, we tap this Goblin Sharpshooter with the Splinter Twin's ability to create a clone of itself. This one deals damage to an opponent, this one deals damage to itself, killing itself and untapping our Goblin Sharpshooter, and we have the loop achieved, and we just keep going from there. The next combo involves Savage Beating and Spellbinder. You also need a creature on your side of the battlefield that's not summoning sick. We're going to use Combat Celebrant as our creature yet again. Just pretend this is a vanilla 4/4, we'll say it, and that's going to be necessary for us to pull this off because we need to be attacking for this combo to work. Spellbinder says 3 mana, you can imprint it, so when it comes into play, you may remove an instant card in your hand from the game. We're going to imprint Savage Beating. It can only be cast during your turn and only during combat, but that's what we're going to be doing. And we're going to be choosing one of its multiple modes down here. Creatures you control gain double strike until end of turn, or untap all creatures you control, and after this phase there's an additional combat phase. That's the one we're going to be choosing. You're going to see that this is very similar to the Combat Celebrant in that we're just going to try and achieve infinite attack steps with this ability. So we've got Spellbinder on the battlefield. Savage Beating has been imprinted on it, so it's exiled, but it is part of Spellbinder now, and we've got Spellbinder equipped to our attacking creature. Now this is one where you need opponents that are shields down, because we're not going to be creating multiple tokens to go super wide and just overrun regardless of blockers or anything. So you need creatures that can either get through, so like a dragon, some kind of flying creature in red would be great to put this on, but you can also have all opponents with shields down, hopefully get lucky, and then you can go infinite with this combo once you've set up and you're perfectly ready to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to attack with the equipped creature that's got Spellbinder equipped to it. When it deals combat damage to the opponent, the Spellbinder is going to trigger, and it's going to let us cast a copy of Savage Beating. For the copied Savage Beating, we're going to choose to untap our creatures and gain an additional combat phase after this phase. And we go from there. It attacks, it gets through, Spellbinder triggers, we cast Savage Beating, untap all creatures you control. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase, and bing, bang, boom. If you've got an army or some kind of token generator, you can go even wider with this and be able to do that every turn, especially if you've got something that's giving all your creatures haste. But like I said, Spellbinder plus Savage Beating, as long as you've got a shields down opponent, you'll be able to go infinite with that attack, however much life they have, and you can at least eliminate one opponent if you're not able to achieve eliminating all of them. The next combo is a play on Impact Trimmers using Runaway Steamkin and Grinning Ignis. To get this combo set up and ready to roll, we need Grinning Ignis, Runaway Steamkin, and Impact Trimmers all on the battlefield, and we also need 3 red mana available to get the combo kicked off, and then we'll enter into our loop and we'll be good to go. So the first thing that we're going to do is activate Grinning Ignis to return it to our hand and add 2 colorless and 1 red mana. That's 1 red to return it to our hand, add a red and 2 other to our mana pool at sorcery speed. So we pay the 1 red, we return Ignis to our hand, and we've got 3 floating. We're going to cast the Grinning Ignis, recast the Grinning Ignis for that 3 that we had floating, and that's going to put a counter on Runaway Steamkin. When the Grinning Ignis ETBs, the Impact Trimmers is going to trigger, and that's going to deal a damage to each opponent, but we've only just begun. Now we're going to pay 1 again, return Ignis to our hand, add 3 to our mana pool, use that 3 to recast Grinning Ignis. That puts another counter on Runaway Steamkin, deals another damage to each opponent, and then we pay it again. We do it once more, pay the 1, return it, we have 3 floating, recast it. Runaway Steamkin now has 3 counters on it, and Impact Trimmers has done 3 damage to each opponent. Now we are able to remove 3 +1/+1 counters from Runaway Steamkin, and that's going to be, if you've caught along, that's going to be the 3 mana that we need to run this 3 more times. So we remove the counters, we use 1 of those floating mana to return the Ignis, recast it with the 3 that the Ignis itself creates, put a counter on, deals damage to each opponent. Use another one of those floating 3 red mana from Runaway Steamkin, removing 3 +1/+1 counters and adding 3 red mana. Return, recast with its own mana that it gave us, counter, damage to each opponent. Return, counter, damage to each opponent. When it gets to 3 again, remove 3 +1/+1 counters. You've got 3 red mana floating again. Return, counter on Steamkin, Impact Trimmers. Return, counter on Steamkin, Impact Trimmers, and you get it from there. The loop has been achieved. Lastly, we're going to have some fun with Goblin tokens. This one's going to be dealing with Krenko Mob Boss, Hellraiser Goblin, and Breath of Fury. Krenko taps to create X 1/1 red Goblin creature tokens, where X is the number of goblins you control. Hellraiser Goblin gives all of our creatures haste, and they must attack. And Breath of Fury says, enchant creature you control. When enchanted creature deals combat damage to a player, sack it, attach Breath of Fury to a creature creature you control. If you do, untap all creatures you control, and after this phase there's an additional combat phase. You can start to see where this is headed. So what we're going to do, we need Krinko, Hellraiser Goblin on the battlefield, we need Breath of Fury in our hand, and we need at least 4 mana ready to go, 2 of which need to be red, to cast the Breath of Fury. So we're going to start by tapping Krinko Mob Boss. That's going to give us 2 Goblin tokens right onto the battlefield. We're going to then pay the 4 for Breath of Fury. Bop, 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 4. The Breath of Fury is going to enchant one of our Goblin tokens. We're going to attack an opponent and connect with the enchanted Goblin. Now that's important. Again, this is one where we have to attack an opponent that it can get through on, that's got shields down, so you have to time this combo really well. Breath of Fury, when it connects, sacrifices the enchanted Goblin, untaps the rest of your team, of which now we have an extra Goblin, and the Breath of Fury is going to attach to this token over here. Krinko Mob Boss is going to tap, that's going to create 3 more Goblins, and we just repeat. We gotta attack with the Goblin at the very least that has the Breath of Fury at an opponent that is shields down, but the rest of the tokens can go in whatever direction you want. Everything's got to attack, and so what you're gonna be doing is every turn residually gaining more and more Goblins until you've just got this infinite amount of Goblins. As long as you can get through with the one that has the Breath of Fury on it, then you're going to be able to just untap, put it on another token, reactivate Krinko, get a ton more Goblins, and just go crazy. Like I said, this one's got to be timed well. You got to have an opponent that is shields down, or at least is not able to deal with just a 1/1 attacking, but that's going to let you go infinite. That's 5 infinite damage combos in red. Let's close the book. Thanks so much for watching. If there's a favorite red combo that goes infinite that I did not cover in this video, let me know down in the comments below, and you might see it in an upcoming video. On your way out, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and check out the other videos in this series. I've got an infinite damage video for each individual color in EDH that you will be able to put in any EDH deck that has those colors. Appreciate you watching. I'm tapped out. I'll catch you later.